link, by the way, to the recording from last week. It was in my cloud on Zoom, so it's a different link. I'm just going to mute everybody for the time being. Okay, so hi guys, how are you? Welcome to the Team Enough and Team Luminous and Team Power Positivity, all the teams, team calls. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to be on the team call with us tonight. I'm going to start, Shauna's going to share her screen so that we can do a little recognition, and then I'm going to introduce Rach, who's going to be speaking tonight on Instagram. So, all right, we are going to start off with recognition for Success Club, looking at where we are in the month of April. So far this month as a team, we've changed 28 lives, which is awesome. At Success Club less than 5, we have Sarah Cabral with 4, Shauna Valenta with 2, Jamie with 2, myself with 2, Becky Van Dusen with 2, Caitlin with 2, and Kitcha with 2. Rach is at SC6 and Stephanie Mason is at SC6. So congratulations, guys. That's awesome. You hit your Success Club 5 for this month, which is a big deal. And then at Success Club 10 Plus, we have Ashley Feld Dyson with 28 points. So tonight on our call, we're going to have Rachel Batchelder. She's going to be speaking on Instagram and basically all the ins and outs of Instagram. So for those of you that don't know Rach, hey Shauna, can you stop sharing your screen for a sec? If you don't mind, thank you. For those of you that don't know Rach, Rach is one of my PS coaches, and she'll share with you, I'm sure, a little bit about her story and how she came to be. Why is this lighting so terrible? How she came to be in the Beachbody world. And she is super strong in the world of Instagram, which I find kind of funny because when she first started, that seemed to be the part of her business that we were working on and she was trying to get confident and comfortable in. And I've just been so proud of her. She's been slaying the mother, you know what, game for the last, 6+ months, really the last almost year now. And I'm super proud of everything that she's achieved. She's come so far in such a short period of time, and I'm very, very, very proud. So she's going to talk to us tonight about her tips on Instagram and using it to build your business. So with that, Rach, I'm going to unmute you and give you the floor.
All right. Hi, guys. So I'm pretty sure I know most of you guys, at least a little bit. So I'm Rachel. I'm a dental hygienist. And when I started Beachbody, I was freshly out of hygiene school, trying to find a job, living in my parents' basement. My fiance, who was my boyfriend at the time, was in the Air Force, so he lived in North Carolina. I lived here in Connecticut, and it was just really hard doing the distance, and I had put on a lot of weight in hygiene school just from the stress eating and not taking care of myself. So I really was just looking for an outlet. So I signed up for the local gym, and that's where I met Kim. She was teaching the Insanity Live classes, and I just fell in love with her energy, and it was the best group fitness class I ever took. And so I went religiously every Friday, and I'd always say to her, I wish I could come more, but I work so much. I was waitressing at the time too. I work so much that I really don't have time to come any other times in the week. And she's like, oh, well, you can do these programs at home, right? And so she got me into that. And then I signed my best friend up with Kim because I was so against coaching. I was like, I'm not coaching. No, I'm not doing that. Caitlin, meet Kim. She's awesome. She'll sign you up. My friend wants to do it, Kim. And then I think I got to the point where I wanted the discount on the shakes. I was I had gotten the shakes, and then I was these are too expensive. I can't afford them with all my student loans and blah, blah, blah. And I was I can't afford these. So I'm just going to drink the protein powder from the gym or from GNC, and that'll just be good enough. And then I realized that I really loved the shakes within a month or two. And I was all right, if I'm going to drink these shakes, I might as well listen to her and get the discount. So that was 2 years ago now. And I never really did anything with coaching in the beginning. I really just drank the shakes and did the workouts. And I like completely fell off. And then Kim was kind of like hounding me, and love you. Honestly, if it wasn't for Kim following up with me, I would not be here right now. I completely wrote coaching off and came up with every excuse, from Jesse just came home from the Air Force to we're trying to buy a house. We just moved in our house. I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have this. And she just kept showing me the potential that was here in this business. And I got on one Zoom call with her like this. And the next thing you know, I was like, all right, I'm going to freaking do this. So I guess the learning lesson from that is, even if you just have discount coaches, don't write them off as just discount coaches, because you never know when they're going to turn into your runners and when they're actually going to want to work this business. So even if people stop responding to you or whatever, if you still think that they have potential, let that keep talking to them, even if it's just talking to them about their dogs or their kids or their whatever, like still keep that relationship, because you never know when someone's going to come around. In this instance, that was me. And now I'm like completely obsessed with coaching, with Beachbody, with everything. It's completely changed my life. The personal development and the personal growth has changed my relationships with my fiance, with my family, with myself. I feel like I'm finally in a place where I feel confident, and I'm learning to love my body after all the times and all the years of doing every crazy fad diet out there, diet pills and Garcinia, Cambodia, and all that stuff. I tried it. And I feel like I'm finally at a place where I feel good about myself. So that's awesome. So what I'm going to speak about today is Instagram. That's where I do all of my business. And there's really so much that you can do with it, but at the same time, you want to be keeping it simple. You don't want to overthink things. And you want to remember what your income producing activities are. And what that means is, what are the things that you're going to do on a day-to-day basis that's going to move your business forward? Those main things is inviting people to this. Not only, we talked about this a little bit before, not just inviting people to your challenge groups. That's the biggest mistake I made as a new coach, was I was so afraid to talk about coaching because I didn't think I had enough income, or I didn't think I was successful enough to invite to this. And the best thing you can do is invite to coaching right out of the gate. Whether you're looking at girls who are already into fitness and they have awesome Instagram pages and you're inviting them, or they're girls you're signing up as challengers, the last thing I do before I sign someone up is I say, give me your email, your shake flavors, your name. I'm going to send you the link. They give it to me. I say one last thing. Just wanted to let you know there's an opportunity for you to sign up as a discount coach where you can get a discount off the products. If you plan on doing this as more of a lifestyle rather than just a 30-day challenge, I highly recommend it. Most of the time they do it, then at least you're starting to build your team. But let me share my screen. Where's the little thing to do it?
You got it, babe, down at the bottom?
I got it. Yep, I found it.
Okay.
I don't know why it disappeared. But I also don't know. Oh. Hang on 1 second. Shoot. Okay. So my laptop's not charging, probably because the dog ate the cord a little bit. So that's good. Good stuff.
Is your car going to lose battery?
I have like 16%.
You're
I could always switch it over to my phone after, maybe. But anyway, so all things Instagram. So like I said, mainly this is where I run my business. You want to make sure your account isn't private, because you want people to be able to see it, and you don't want to have to accept them in order for them to see your stuff. Pretty simple. Aesthetics is so important, guys. So when you ask someone if you can follow them, they're going to go to your page. So like, think about it. When someone goes to follow you, what's the first thing you do? You click on their page, and does this person look like someone you want to follow? So you want it to be eye appealing. You want it to be good, bright colors, bright images, good text. So think about it as like your magazine cover, and your stories is the inside of your magazine. So your page is what's going to get people to follow you, but your stories is going to get people to actually invest in you. They're going to be invested in your life, in what you're doing. Like, you know, we just got a puppy, and I can't even tell you how many people I've had reach out to me giving me advice on my dog and how many connections I'm building for something outside of Beachbody. So you don't want to just be posting about Beachbody. You want to be throwing other things about your life in it too. Something that you can do to help your page look more eye appealing is add a bio section in your Instagram. So when you go to your homepage, like mine says, dental hygienist, dog mom, fiance, lover of mimosas and Marshalls, just kind of like a little bit about me. And then you can also add a link tree with a Google form in there. We kind of talked about that on the last call that I helped you guys with, where you want to have a link and where people can go and click and they can fill out a form so you know they're interested in your group. You can also do highlights to your page, which is where you just basically save your stories to your page in a certain group or category. So that way people can see it, you know, because stories time out. Being present on social media. So if you're like, rah, Beachbody, yes, get fit, all that for 3 days, and then you fall off for a week or a month, and then you try and come back and pick it back up, people are not gonna trust you. So like, you have to be doing this consistently for people to actually trust you and to know that you're not just gonna quit on them. And again, a mistake I made last spring, I was like doing really good for like 2 or 3 months. Summer came, I was like, oh, you know, I'm going to go to the beach and drink and, you know, have fun. And then I tried to get back into it in the fall, and it was so much harder for me to pick it back up because I had let it fall off for so long. So you want to be consistently posting at least once a day on your page, I say is a pretty good number. They say 1 to 3 times. I'd say like 1 to 2, you know, thought out posts with nice clear cut images. And then you want to be updating your stories every day. And you want it to be about your daily life. You know, take clips of your workouts. If you don't know how to record your workouts, ask me or ask one of your coaches. You want to be showing you drinking your shake, and like, you know, don't show the products. Don't like plaster Shakeology all over your page. Call it your superfood shake or your unicorn crack. You know, there's all types of fun ways to talk about it without actually telling people what you're doing, because you want them to be curious and you want them to ask you. A great way to gauge your engagement on your stories is your polls. You guys know that you can see who's watching your stories. So the people that are continually watching your stories, those are the people that are interested. So you're probably wondering, like, how do you know what to post? And this is something that can be really hard for people when they're first starting. But the thing is you need to figure out who you are outside of Beachbody. So who are you known for outside of Beachbody? If you asked your friends, your mom, you know, your brother, your sister, you know, who you were, what kind of things do you like? And that kind of goes back to the bio where I'm a dental hygienist, I'm planning my wedding, I'm a dog mom, I like to cook, you know, I like the beach, I like to hike. Who are you, and how are you going to connect with other people like you? Because the people that you recruit as your coaches, they're on your team, and they're people that like you have to spend time with. And so you want to like them, and you want to have things in common with them. Like, Caitlin and I, one of the coaches on my team, just went to an event yesterday, and like we literally talked nonstop. Like, we're both engaged. We both are huge dog lovers. We have, you know, similar interests. And it was just like, wow, like this is so cool that like you're friends. So you want to be connecting with people that you're going to be friends with. And you don't want to just be like grasping for anybody with a pulse, because then you're going to be like, oh, I have to talk to this person. So, you know, you want to build that connection. And then you really want to think about, why'd you start coaching? How has this changed your life? Really just, you know, and there's so many trainings, you guys, on telling your story. But one of the best things you can do is go back and write out how you felt before Beachbody, how you felt when you had the extra 10 or 20 pounds on, when you didn't know how to eat healthy, when you were eating lean cuisines and, you know, fast dieting and like all the crazy stuff you've done. Just write out your story and make a post out of it, you know, to pull different pieces about your life, about where you struggled and how you've overcome it and how Beachbody's helped you. And then having bright and eye-catching photos. So no one's going to read your post if you don't have a photo that's going to stop them from scrolling. So you might have amazing content, but no one's going to read it if you're not taking the time to take good pictures with good lighting. So either by a window, in a well-lit room, whenever I do my hair and makeup, which is usually Saturdays and Sundays because I don't really do too much during the week, that's when I'll change my shirt 3 times, and I'll make Jesse go down to the lake with me and like take a bunch of different pictures. I'll use I have like a selfie light, like a ring light. Those are awesome too. Where you put your phone in it, and I'll change my shirt a couple of times. I'll put my hair up, put my hair down, drink my shake, you know what I mean? And then you save the pictures, and I always go through and I favorite the pictures that I like and that I'll know I'll use. So then on a Wednesday afternoon when I have 10 minutes to write a post and I'm at work, I can go back and find a picture that I think could relate to what I'm talking about now. You can do the same thing with writing the post. You can write them out in advance. And then variety. You don't want to be posting the same thing every day. And just kind of do like a social media, like check on yourself. Like go to your page and think like, would I be someone that I want to follow? Or like reach out to me or your upline. I'd be more than happy to look at your Instagram and tell you what I thought, like give you some pointers and some tips. And then let's talk about getting new eyes on your page. So this is important too, because again, you could be putting awesome content out, but if no one's seeing it, then it's not really doing too much for you. I know as a new coach, a lot of people are focusing on like their family coworkers, but eventually you're going to run out of those people. And you're going to need new people to talk to. So start from the beginning trying to find new people. And you could do this by, again, just like figuring out who you are is so important because that's going to help you find those people. So like I said before, it's people you want to be friends with, people you'd want to go to coffee with. You have similar interests. Maybe you're at the same stage of your life. People who look like you, dress like you. People that literally you'd want to be your girlfriends. Those are the types of people you want to add. And again, that goes back to branding yourself and figuring out who you are outside of Beachbody. So gaining more followers. What you're going to do is you're going to search. Instagram is just like has so much out there. And you want to look for people that you want to follow that are not Beachbody coaches. So whether they're like a mom's page or a dog page or like a fashion blogger, someone that you feel like you're similar to, but they're not in Beachbody. So you go and you follow them, and you go to their page and you look for a picture that you like and click on who else has liked it. Then you kind of scroll through who's liking their photos, and if you see someone you think that like you would connect with, click on their page, follow them, and then like a couple of their photos. Comment on a couple of their photos. Make sure it's genuine. Don't just be like cute shirt. Make sure it's genuine, or send them a message and be like, hey girl, I noticed you just came back from the Dominican Republic. I'm planning a trip with my family next summer. Do you have any tips for me? Or I see that you also you're also a dog mom. I just got a new puppy. Like, it's been awesome. Like, what kind of dog do you have? Or you know what I mean? So like you're looking for things that you can connect with people outside of Beachbody. Because I just got a message yesterday from a girl from It Works that was just like, hey girl, want to do my program? Pretty much. Like, I'm like, I've never talked to you. I don't know who you are. And I actually gave her the advice, like, don't send those messages because there's so many network marketers on Instagram nowadays. People's inboxes get flooded, and that's the last thing they're going to respond to. So like I said, examples is just like so when you go to the Instagram search page, there's going to be stuff that's recommended for you. So if you just go on Instagram, the bottom left corner is like a little looking glass. Then there's going to be things that go across the top that say accounts, tags, and location. So tags is hashtags. So you can search a hashtag and find people that relate to your brand. Same with location. Something that I used to do when I use a company now to help me grow my following called 21 Social. But before I was doing that, I would go to local vineyards. So I would go to like Brignole Vineyards, and I would look at who was tagging them, and I would go to their page and follow them. And then I would go through, if they had pictures with a big group of girlfriends, I would go through the friends and add their friends. Same thing, like if I went to a restaurant, I remember I went to Johnny Appleseed apple picking, and like I got like a ton of girls that I followed and that followed me back from just people that went apple picking. Same thing with like restaurants, anywhere you go. Like actually I think that one of my coaches, two of my coaches live in the same town as me, and I'm sure it's because I tag my house like every other day. So really just taking advantage of that and going out and searching for other people that are like you, like following them and liking some of their stuff. Oops. So like I said, then you want to find a picture on their feed, click on it, try and connect with them. Does it look like someone that you'd want to be friends with? Leave genuine comments. I got to a point where it's kind of time consuming for me to do this. So now I use something called 21 Social, which you could use too. It is something you have to pay for monthly, but a lot of my recent Success Club points have come from people from 21 Social. So in my opinion, it's worth it. And then who do you invite? So you want to invite people that are continually watching your stories, liking your photos, people from your past, like your old friends, old coworkers. Go back and like restart conversations. How have you been? I haven't talked to you in forever. What is new with you? And then engage in conversations with your new followers. So once people start to follow you back, when you go on your Instagram and you click like the heart button, it gives you your notifications. It'll tell you who your new followers are. And you could go through and send them a message. My message is like, hey girl, thanks so much for following me on my health and fitness journey. I really appreciate it. Are you also into fitness? And I get pretty good responses from that. It's not a join my boot camp right now thing, but it's like, hey, I'm into fitness. Are you too? And then usually I get a yes. If they're super into fitness, then I lean towards inviting them to coaching. If they say, no, I'm not, but I should be, or I'm working towards it, or I'm trying, then I invite them to the challenge group and eventually would want to invite them to coaching. So like I said, so here again, who are you inviting to your boot camp and to coaching is the two things you're inviting to. Make sure you're doing both. Inviting to coaching is huge. And like I said, I waited way too long to do it. So last but not least, the fortunes and the follow-up. 99% of people will not sign up after an initial conversation unless you get like your unicorns who message you and like, hey girl, I want to be a Beachbody coach. Can you sign me up? I've been watching you, sign me up. Like that might happen, but it's very few and far between. Usually you have to have engagement with the person numerous times where you're talking Beachbody or not talking Beachbody. You have to talk to them a lot before they actually sign up. So if you don't ever follow up with them, the chances are they probably won't follow up or they probably won't sign up. You have to think how busy people's lives are. And you just never know when you're going to send someone a follow-up message the day that they couldn't button their jeans and they're feeling horrible about themselves and they're just having a day. Because that might be the perfect time. And what I do is I use Google Streak to track my stuff, which there's like tons of YouTube info about it. I can send you guys a YouTube video if you want, if you need help setting up your streak. I can show you what mine looks like. I can actually show you in a minute. But I also do pen and paper. So if someone's like really interested, then I'll do pen and paper and I'll still write their name down. If people are confused or seem skeptical when you're trying to get them into this, I'll always recommend a few different things. So I'll either record a video of me going through BOD. So I'll have BOD up on my computer and I'll take my phone and I'll be like, hey, this is Beachbody on Demand. Here's the workouts. Here's the trainers. And they're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. You get all that? Or you could try and get them on a Zoom call like this, which if you're nervous to do so, you can always ask me or your upline coach to do it with you. That's helped me seal quite a few deals because people get to see you in person. You can share your screen, show them BOD. They can see your passion, your authenticity a lot easier than through text messaging. Same thing with like sending voice messages. I've been doing that a lot more lately, just because I feel like it's a little bit more authentic. And then people know they're not just getting a copied and pasted message from you. And then the last thing you could do too is if they're kind of skeptical, but like you think they might want to, is send them the sample workout. So there's 2 sample workouts, Lift 4 and Transform 20. And they don't have to sign in. They don't have to put their credit card in. I try and shy away from doing the free 2-week trial because Beachbody automatically enrolls them in a 30-day or in a 3-month membership. And we don't want them doing that. We want them to get challenge packs. So I try and shy away from doing the 2-week free trial. And because then you have to put your credit card in and people are more hesitant. I just send them the sample workout and then the workouts speak for themselves, guys. Like, you know that. People will message me and be like, holy crap, I'm dripping sweat. Like, that was such a good workout. And so then they can kind of see that like it's a real deal and like kind of what it's about, versus, you know, them just kind of saying no to you because not so much because they don't want to do it, but because they don't know what they're signing up for. So that's basically all I have. I don't know how to get back to.
Down at the bottom, click on stop sharing, Rach.
Oh, stop share.
There
there we go.
Good job. That was awesome.
I feel like I talked fast, but thanks.
No, you did great. That was super helpful. And so I took a couple of notes. And Shauna, do you want to talk first? You want me to talk first? You want to talk at all? What do you want to do? I'm unmuting you. You're unmuted.
I'm good. You can talk.
Okay. I'll re-mute you then. Okay, so I wrote a couple of things. Just so you guys know, I was at the Albany Super Saturday event this weekend, and we had 11-star diamond Amy Grasso speak at our event, and I am obsessed with her business model. I'm obsessed with the way she runs her business. I actually, my business, personally, my business changed. And when I feel like, you know, I actually was talking to one of the girls that's on Ashley Paul Dyson's team at our event. She was like, what did you do? What have you changed? What have you done differently? And I was like, honestly, what Amy is going to speak about today, because it was her national wake-up call. And actually, when she was on our Team Boom, it was either our Team Boom call or our Team Elevate call, when she was on that call, and I heard her talk about how she runs her groups and how she invites and how she runs her business, I was like, wait a minute, okay, this is me. And this is what I want to stress is like, you have to figure out what your tactics are. You have to figure out what works for you. You have to figure out what's your personality, because we're all different. And there are some like amazing coaches that are really, really good at cold invites, and they kill a cold invite, and that's authentic to their personality. They're super upfront. They're very blunt. They're very forward individuals. And then there's people that are just like Amy said, she goes, I'm 11-star diamond. I'm super successful in this business. I make a killing in money. I am ranked very high in this company, and I don't do cold invites because they make me feel icky. And because they make me feel icky, they probably feel icky to the people I'm sending them to, so I haven't had success with it. There's coaches like Ashley Feldice and Kate Schultz that are insanely successful in this business that will only cold invite. And so my point is, this really hit home for me when I was at Summit, this past Summit. I was listening to Jatana Jackson speak, and I don't know if you guys follow her or know of her, but she is one of the top coaches in the network. She's used to be a beauty pageant girl, and very like, her workout videos are her like dancing and shimmying and like super fun and exciting, and all these like when she gets her shake off the fridge, she shakes her butt every day in her stories. And then there's Melanie Mitro, and she talked about it at Summit, and she was like, guys, we went on a trip as the top 10 coaches in the network. Beachbody rewarded us with a trip, and we sat and we shared our stories, and we talked about how we were successful and what got us to this top 10 trip and the top 10 in the company. And not one of us had the same story. Not one of us did it the same way. And I really want to stress that, because there is no cookie cutter way to be successful in this business. Are there things that work and things that don't? Yes. But my point is, like, Jatana spoke on it at Summit, and she said, if I show up on Instagram tomorrow and I'm like, hi guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to record my podcast today. It's called Women Empowering Women. Could you please watch it? my followers would be like, what is this? Like, that's not, she goes, at the same time, if Melanie showed up on Instagram and she was shaking her hoo-has, shaking her, at the camera and dancing in her workout video, people would be like, what happened to Melanie? Like, who is this? Because you attract your tribe, and you're going to attract to you the things that you are, your personality. Like, Haley Christian talked about this too, and she joked about it. She's like, I dyed my hair pink, and all of a sudden I had a bunch of girls on my team that had pink hair. Like, what you are, what you exemplify, how you act, how you post, how you talk, you're going to attract that to you. And what happens in this business where people get screwed up is where they follow a million coaches and they try to do what all these successful coaches do, right? Like, well, this girl is super successful and she does makeup tutorials. So like, I had this point in my business where I was trying to do makeup tutorials, and I'm like, I don't even know how to I don't know what a highlighter is. I'm not even sure what a concealer means. I don't know what I'm concealing. I thought that's what you did with a weapon. Like, I'm so clueless when it comes to makeup. I went to Sephora and had the lady try to teach me makeup so I could do a makeup tutorial. And it was like, what am I doing? Like, because I saw Emily Favre and Ashley Feldison and all these girls that were like, do you guys want me to do a makeup tutorial on how I do my makeup every day and my favorite makeup things? And so I was like, well, they're so successful. Like, I need to, shit, I don't know a thing about makeup. And my point is, I was trying to mold myself into these people I was following. So I stopped following coaches because it was wasting my time. And I was trying so hard, like, this person, okay, well, she does this, okay, but this coach does this, and it's total opposite. And I finally one day said to myself, I'm going to do me. And I'm gonna run this business the way that works for me and that I feel good about. I'm gonna send invites I feel like I can back up. I'm gonna talk in ways that is true to me and my personality and who I am. And if people like that, if people gravitate to that, great, because I will retain those people. I'm not interested in hitting Success Club 100. And the reason why, sure, would I like the money? Absolutely. Would that be cool to show up and be the highest ranked coach in Success Club every month in the group? Absolutely. But my point is, if I'm hitting those numbers, but I'm not making genuine connections with people and finding my tribe, and it's not a deep connection, great. So they buy a challenge pack. Where did they go? Like, we didn't connect. We had nothing in common. We didn't talk about anything. I didn't help them write up a meal plan. I don't even know what program they did, if they even did one. Then they're gone. And great, I hit Success Club 20, but how deep is that Success Club points? Like, where'd they go? Are they a coach? Were they a successful challenger? Because the true stats are, I think Michael Neiman told us this at our Super Saturday back in October, 82% of coaches were successful challengers. 82%. It's not to say that you can't have a coach kill this business and not start and not have this great experience and not be this amazing challenger. Sure, can somebody come in and slay the business and not really have this great transformation or be a product of the product? I'm sure they probably could. But 82% of the top coaches or successful coaches working this business started as a challenger that had success, was proof the products worked, believed in the products so much that they had no choice but to coach because they felt compelled to do so. So I just went on a major tangent, but my whole point to what I was trying to say is, I posted Amy Grasso's, I video recorded her whole presentation, and you guys just have to find what works for you. If a cold invite is your jam, then cold invite your freaking face up. But you have to invite. I'm not going to sit here and tell you like, okay, you don't like to cold invite at all, then you can't do it. No, you have to. You have to do the things that make you uncomfortable, but do it in a way that's authentic to you, that feels good to you, and that you can back up. If somebody responds to that invite, like, can you be your real, authentic, genuine self? My biggest mistake I made in this business was, like Rach said, I was just looking for pulses. I would have sold Beachbody to anybody. I had a girl literally take my class this morning. This is the third week she's taken my class, doesn't speak a word of English. And every day after class, she comes up to me and she's like, hi, how do I lose my belly? What do I eat? And I'm like, here we go. And it's like a 45-minute conversation of me like, oh, so today I sat there and I was like, or she asked, how do I lose my belly? And I said, nutrition last week. It goes on and on and on. My point being, normally, like the Kim a year ago would have tried to sell her Beachbody somehow, even though she doesn't speak a damn word of English. I would have been like, oh, you want to know how to lose the belly? Let me tell you, these are the containers. Here's where you buy it. Okay, bye. And that was it. And I didn't even try to talk Beachbody with her, and that's probably bad in a sense, but I knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere is my point. Like, I could have gotten 2 Success Club points from her, but I didn't want to waste my time talking Beachbody to her, knowing that she was never going to be a coach on my team. She was never going to be somebody I could see myself traveling to all these fun places with and going on retreats with, and knowing that it was going to be 2 Success Club points. She'd probably do absolutely nothing with it, and a complete waste of my time. So you have to, like, if you can, watch the video of Amy Grasso. I am obsessed with how she runs her business. And I just can't stress enough to you guys, like, you need to find what works for you. And how Rach runs her business could be different than me, and how Shauna runs hers could be different than me and from Rach. Everybody, you just have to find your niche. You have to find your tribe. You have to find what works for you. And we can sit here all day and tell you do this, do that. If it's not genuine and authentic, your tribe, your followers they're going to feel that, they're going to see it, they're going to know it. So take what we say with a grain of salt and say, okay, this is what they did, and this is how I'm going to tweak it and apply it to my business to work for me and my personality, if that makes sense. And then one more thing, Amy also talked about why she joined with Teresa Ormeal, her coach. And she said she had been approached by 7 coaches. 7 Beachbody coaches were talking to her about coaching because she had done Insanity and had an incredible transformation. 7 different coaches were telling her, you were born to be a coach in this business. The only reason why she signed up with Teresa Ormeal was because Teresa talked to her about more than just Beachbody. She said, Teresa talked to me. We talked about our dogs. We talked about where I grew up. We talked about, my kids. She asked me about so many things. She followed up with me just to be like, hey, saw you had another baby. Congratulations. Like, that's the stuff. I know it takes time, and I have days too where I'm like, Merp, I don't have the time for this. And I do have conversations I just cut off, but that's, Teresa now has an 11-star diamond coach underneath her that if she didn't follow up, if she didn't put that time in, she wouldn't have. And, I've been running into this a lot with 21 Social, but I don't know if you guys, Sarah or Rach or anybody back, those of you that are using it have seen this too, but I've been getting a ton of new followers, and I go to message them, and literally in their bio, it says, if you're trying to sell me stuff, don't bother. Like, I've had 5 accounts in the last week that I've seen that. If you're trying to sell me stuff, don't friend me, don't follow me, don't contact me, don't message me, whatever. People are getting sick of it on Instagram. Instagram is like an amazing place to grow your following and to grow your business. But there's so many people that are on Instagram that all they get all day long is cold invites to anything and everything. One girl, literally, I sent her my automated message, 21 Social did, and she messaged me back and she goes, okay, I'm starting. She said, I appreciate your message. I can tell you're a coach just by looking at your profile, but I love that you didn't just right out the gate try to sell me something. She goes, I'm really starting to get offended by the fact that I get contacted by health and fitness coaches on the daily asking me if I want to join their group to lose weight. And she's like, I'm sick of it. I'm over it. It's offensive to me. Thank you for introducing yourself and asking in a roundabout way, am I into fitness? So, I think the cold invites are great, and you just have to figure out what works for you. But I think people are getting freaking sick of you follow them and then right out the gate, you're like, hi, want to join my challenge group? Like, introduce yourself. This is who I am. This is my life. Let them respond. Then start to talk to them about it. Or find a way, like Rach said, her automated message, it goes the direction of fitness. Mine does too. 9 times out of 10, my follow-up messages are in the direction of, talking about health and fitness. So if you're doing it the right way, you can cold invite, right out the gates, essentially, or lead it that direction without just being like, hey, you have a pulse, want to join my group? Does that make sense? And there was, I think Annie posted this actually the other day, but she said, the average person says no 7 times before they say yes. 7 times. So no is never no. no is not right now. And that's important with the world of Instagram because, you know, those people that send you a message back that are like, nope, I'm all set. Don't just write them off. I just had a girl just buy a challenge pack actually yesterday. And she's been following me for almost 2 years. And I've probably invited her to this opportunity the entire length of those 2 years. So it took her 2 years. And, you know, she watches my stories religiously. She's all over my shit like white on rice. But it just took her that much time to say, okay, I'm ready. So you just gotta, some days it's exhausting and some days you're like, this is going nowhere. And if you really feel that way, then walk away from it for a little bit. But if they're still watching your stories, they're there for a reason. You're never bothering somebody. Like, Rach, I think, who was it that we were talking to this about? And they were like, but I feel like I'm bothering them by continuing to reach out. They're like over me, they're over my stuff, whatever. And I was like, but are they still watching your stories? And I forget who it was, but she was like, yes. And I said, then they're not over you. If they're still there every day and they're watching your stuff, they're not sick of you. Because if you
follow you.
Exactly.
Block you.
Exactly. They'll be like, bitch, bye, unfollow and block, stay away from me. Like, I'm done with this. So they're there for a reason. If you're inviting off your stories, I say you're golden, because those are the people that, like, they are all in. And you're going to know the ones. You're going to start to see the trend and like, Jesus, this girl watches my stories 5 seconds after I post.
And that's why it's so important that you're continuously posting stories
Yes.
every day, and that they're not just Beachbody stuff.
Yes.
Like, you always want to be adding value to people's lives. So I heard today on the National Wake Up Call, like, if you come across a really good recipe that you love, save it into your phone. And then when you're talking to someone, be like, I know you said you're a busy mom and you struggle with having time to eat healthy. Here's a 20-minute recipe that my family loved. You should try it and let me know. Same thing with the sample workouts I was talking about. You could send them the sample workout. Then in a week or two, you're following up and you're saying, hey, do you ever have a chance to do that workout? So you're like reconnecting with them and like you're giving them something for free. You're giving them value. So whatever that looks like to you, whether it's recipes or it's tips and tricks on whatever, you're good at. And that's where it goes back to finding what defines you. Because like Kim said, someone may be qualified to give makeup tips that's not qualified to give tips on cooking, and vice versa, So it's like we all have our different things. And so you just kind of want to try and add value to your content and share more than just Beachbody, because what I get the most messages is stuff about my fiance or about our dog or about where I'm going or what I'm doing. People love, love, love to give you advice too. If you ask people's advice, they love to give you their advice. So whatever you're struggling with, or even if you're questioning something, but you kind of already have your answer, still post it. Post it in a poll, just post it and have people if you've ever dealt with this, reach out to me and let me know. I'd love your advice. I did that so much with being a new dog owner, and I got so many new conversations going. People in the past that have ghosted me that are now messaging me. And it may not lead into Beachbody, but at least it's it's more people that I'm talking to and it's more authentic.
Yeah, I love that when you're talking about adding value. That's something that I used to always post a picture of a recipe that I loved, and I would not post a recipe. And I'd be like, DM me if you want the recipe. And then I finally, Carrie Arena, one of the top coaches in the Albany area, was like, why do you do that? Just put the recipe there. Show them that you have value, Kim, what are you going to get from them, asking you for the freaking recipe? You're still going to send them the recipe. And I was like, yeah, but it can start a conversation. She's like, just freaking put the recipe out there. Add value, put value. When somebody comes to look at your page, if they, so literally every 6 posts, I post a recipe that looks yummy. And I actually put the recipe in the post so that when somebody's coming to my page, should I follow this bitch? They're like, oh, wow, look at that mug cake. Wow, she put the recipe. Okay, yeah, I'll follow her. That's cool. I want to try that recipe. So it's you want, Amy said it this weekend. She said, write out 7 things that make you you. I always say 5 5 common interests or 5 things that make you you. For me, it's like, I'm an IVF mom. I'm a pharmacist. At least I used to be. You know, like, what are the things that make you you? I'm a fitness instructor. So find out what makes you who you are as a person, and then make sure that your Instagram showcases that. So she said, like, at any given point, she put up a picture. And again, you guys can see this in the team page if you watch the video, but she put up a picture, and it was a collage, and she had 7 different pictures. There was like a picture of her getting her endometrium done because she had secondary infertility. There was a picture of her kids. There was a picture of her with an eating, you know, her past eating disorder showing. And so she had all these things, and she goes, these are the 7 things that make me me, that other people can, you know, connect with me on. And she said, at any given time, if somebody goes to my Instagram, they're going to see those first 2 rows, those 6 pictures. Those 6 pictures should showcase almost all of those 7 things. So like, one post might be about my kids. One post might be a picture about my infertility struggles. One post might be a transformation of, look at how my eating disorder affected me and how skinny I was and how healthy I am today. So you get it, like, every time somebody goes to your profile, it's not just Beachbody, it's not just all your kids, it's not just all you, it's a good variety and a good mixture, plus lots of value. And you know, Rach said, she was talking about polls. I got to tell you guys, when I put a fitness or health related poll, I get like 5 people that respond. I have, thanks to 21 Social, I was having about 100 people watch my stories about 2 months ago. Now I have about 400. So my stories have gone way up in how many people are watching it. If I post something health and fitness related, or do you want to join my group, or I just posted one today that was about like, would you like me to write up a nutrition plan, or do you struggle with that, whatever, I'll get like 5 people to respond to that poll. I went shopping the other day for freaking shoes for the kids, and I put a picture of 2 shoes, and I asked them what shoes I should get Mackenzie. I had 72 people vote for one color and 63 vote for the other. And I get 5 people total when it's health and fitness. So 2 things. One, guess what I did though? All those people that responded to my poll, I sent them a message and I was like, thanks so much for your help on, you know, picking out Mackenzie's shoes. We went with the black pair or whatever. And it's the stupidest thing, but me doing that, them acting on my polls increases my engagement on their account, right? Me messaging them increases the engagement between us. So they're going to start seeing my stuff. And guess what? They're now on my follow-up list because I know they're watching my shit. And I'm going to say, hey, remember when you helped me pick out shoes for my daughter? Want to join my group? And it will lead there. And I'm getting more direct with it. And you guys will find what's comfortable for you. But those polls, like, don't forget, like, I get the most interaction on polls that have nothing to do with health and fitness. And most of the time I can somehow get that. The shoes was a freaking hard one, but I can usually get my message to somehow leave, oh, do you have kids also? And then eventually, like, yeah, it's so hard. When I started having, you know, once I had my kids, it was really hard for me to work out. Do you work out at home? It'll go that direction. It might not be right out the gates, but it eventually will. So, and then, you know, Amy said, Instagram loves when you use their features. That helps your algorithm. So really try to learn the Instagram algorithm. I know it's always changing, but they love when you use their features and when people engage on the features that you use. So that poll that I did with Mackenzie's shoes, that engagement really bumps my algorithm. Me doing a poll on health and fitness and getting 5 people doesn't really help me that much. So learn these things, learn these tips and tricks, and use the features. And like Rach said, ask questions about, you know, about being a mom. Like, hey, does anybody know how to potty train a kid? Like, mine sucks at it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it might be, people do. They love to share their experience with things. And at the end of the day, this business is all connections. That's what it is. It's all connecting with people. And, you know, Mike is a salesperson. He sells computers. And we've talked about this before. And I always tell him, I'm like, it's so freaking exhausting some days. Like, I get so tired of just talking. Like, I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of connecting. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of following up. And he's like, Kim, if I were to walk into, you know, Springfield Public Schools tomorrow, sit my ass down and be like, hi, want to buy computers? They'd be like, who are you? Get out. No, we don't. they have millions of other resellers and wholesalers that they can buy computers from. They're buying computers because guess what? They start to learn, okay, this is me. I have a wife. These are my 2 kids. Let me show you pictures of my kids. Now they feel like total assholes if they don't buy from me because that means I can't send my kids to college or whatever. But they're making this connection that makes them want to say, you know what, we're going to give this sale to Mike Roberts. So I try to think of like what I'm doing on my Instagram or what I'm doing in my business in the social media world. Would I do that in person? Like if I were a salesperson and I was selling Beachbody, would I walk into a gym and be like, hi, want to join my group? They'd be like, who the f are you? Why are you here? No. So try to use that approach if that makes sense. The voice messages, I wrote that down too. I all day long. And also it's so much more effective time-wise. And people love to hear your voice. They like to hear you're a real human. They like to hear your tone, you know, sound super bubbly and friendly.
I think too, like if they see like you sent them a message, they're like, oh, this girl's messaging me again. But they're like, what? Wait, she sent me a voice message? What's this? No one ever sends me voice messages.
Yep.
And then they probably feel like an asshole if they don't answer.
Yep.
More so than just a regular message.
You guys have questions? What are your... This is great, Rach.
I'm excited to watch that thing.
Was so good. Her and Brittany Kovacs. Brittany, I think, just qualified for 6-star, and they're just on fire. Brittany's number 23 right now, and I relate. What I love is that there's so many different ways you can be successful in this business, and it really is just you being authentic to you, and that's really, you know, that's what your Instagram is for. And like Rach said, this is what I told my girls since day one. Like, your stories that's where all the juicy, meaty stuff is. Your posts are like the surface level. This is who I am. You know, that's basically the magazine cover, as I say it. Like, you pick up a magazine cover, like that's what draws people in. And then your stories are the content, are the stories that are the headlines across the magazine. That's where you get to go into the, deep parts of your life and show your kids and show the ins and outs of your job. And like Rach said, it has to be more than Beachbody, because if it's all Beachbody, they're going to be like, no, thank you, unfollow. I have no desire to sit and watch you work out all day. So try to find that balance. And Amy literally goes through and she breaks down like this 10 to 15 stories a day. Only do, if you're talking in a story, do maximum of 3, put words on it to keep people's attention, to keep them drawn in. It's really, like, her tips were awesome. So hopefully you guys will be able to watch that at some point. It's in the Team Enough page. Shauna, I can try to post it in yours too. It just took me like 3 hours to share it on my page. Maybe I can, like, somehow, I don't know how I would do that. Maybe I can tag you and you can see if it'll let you share it. So, do we have any questions, or I didn't see the chat. Oh, Shauna, you were asking about 21 Social. I know I wrote it in the chat and I think you saw it, but so one of the features with 21 Social is anybody that they follow for you, they also watch their stories for 3 days. So them doing that makes your engagement with that person go up. And basically, you know how like the person's stories that you watch the most is the first person that you see in your storyline. So because you're a new follower to them and you've watched their stories, it bumps your bubble to their first person. So like Sean T is my first story every day. So if like this were to happen, if all of a sudden Rach followed me and I followed her back and she was watching my stories, because it's a new following and they're watching my stuff, it bumps your stories to the beginning of the line. So like my stories pop up to this girl's feed and she's like, who's this bitch? And so she'll click on my stories. So my stories went from around 100 people watching them a day to 400. And my following went from like 750 to 30. It's at about 3,400 in the last like 2.5 months. So my following has drastically increased. But like I was talking to Caitlin Walsh yesterday, and she's got 12,000 followers, and she only has not even 200 watching her stories every day. So the engagement isn't there. And a big piece of that is watching people's stories. Like
I have close to 500. It depends on the day of the week, but there's usually 350 to 500 people watching my stories.
Yep. And a lot of that is like, I told Caitlin about 21 Social, and she was like, well, I can't afford it right now. So the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, she's watched a bunch of the people that she follows. She's watched their stories, and she's like, Kim, my stories are up to like 250 to 300. So really, truly, it makes a huge difference if you're really engaging in that person's account, which is why, finding a way to connect with them, to draw them into your stories and to follow their stuff really is going to eventually pay off. Even though it can be a little bit time consuming, which is why a service like 21 Social is so great, because they take care of all of it on the back end.
So if I follow someone, they follow me back, and I watch their stories, I show up at the top of their stories?
Yes.
21 Social mutes them so you don't get their stuff on your page.
She's saying, but she would go to the top of their stories. Yes. So
I'm sorry.
Let's say you find an account and it's like Mrs. K through 12 teacher, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going to follow her. She follows you back. And in the meantime, you watched her stories. You're going to be one of the first bubbles in her stories.
At the top of her thing?
Yeah. So like, here's, let me see. Can you, hold on. Let me see if I can. Let me go for a second. I'm not gonna be able to see. Okay, so let me see if I can get the lighting right. Hold on. You know how, okay, you can see Sean up here?
Yep.
So you would be here.
Okay.
So like, there's all these people that I follow that their stories, like, I don't even know they're there because I don't ever watch them. So they're like way the F down in La La Land that I don't see them. The more that you watch somebody's story, or the more that they watch your story, you pop up there. So like my first one is Sean T. And then I have Joel Freeman. And then I have Rachel. So the people's stuff that you watch the most will show up here. Because you're saying every time you watch their story, like if I were to right now start watching all of Joel's stories and not Sean's, Joel would be my first bubble. So whoever you're engaging with.
Are you in his bubble? Are you in Sean T's bubble?
I don't know. I mean, I've never been like, hey, Sean, am I in your bubble? But
so I want to know, like, so say it's not like a celebrity.
Yeah.
So say I start following Rachel, or I start watching Rachel's stories.
Yep.
So she'll be up there in my thing, but will I be in hers?
So if you, that's the whole point. Only, I don't know about if it's not a new following, but I do know that when somebody starts following you, like if I right now, for example, if I go and like 21 Social, like Rach said, mutes their stories for you and their posts. So like all the people they're following, I don't see their shit. So it's like I never even followed them. So that my newsfeed is still all the people that I want to see, like all my friends, my family, whatever. But in the event that if they didn't mute that, then yes, like if I go and I find somebody right now, like, oh, my friend Caitlin is on Instagram. I didn't know that. I'm going to follow her. She follows me back. Her stories are going to be the first one to show up here. And in fact, you can see it right now because like these
so how
girls,
are you going to get her to watch your stories?
What?
So how are you going to get her to watch your stories?
So you watch her stories, which makes your bubble show up in the beginning of her stories.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, so 21 Social does all that for you. They follow them, and then they watch their stories so that they show you're right there in their bubble.
It's just like if you're commenting on people's posts, then your stuff's going to come up more on those, because the more you're engaged, they think you're friends. Like they think, like Instagram thinks that like you know this person, and that's why like Kim and my friends, like people I'm close with in my life, come up on mine because Instagram knows that like you're interested in these people. So if they're like, these are the people she's interested in, so I'm going to keep showing her their stuff. So whenever I open Instagram, like, you know, like the first picture that pops up on just like the page, oftentimes that's someone that I either comment, like, because there's this one girl who's on a weight loss journey. I've been trying like hell to get her to coach, and I always comment on all of her stuff, just cheering her on. Her pictures always pop up on my thing, always, because I watch her stories and I post on her thing. So now it's going to show up on my page, which I'm sure my stuff shows more up on her page because of it. So it's kind of like they think you're friends, so they're going to keep showing you what your friends are doing.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yep. So you just want to engage like hell with them, or pay somebody to do it.
So I kind of have a question for you guys. So I know you guys, we were talking about like doing the invites and all that, and you said that you've been doing like the 40 invites and the follow-ups and everything. I feel like, so I did 40 invites and a bunch of follow-ups the other day.
Good.
Then I went the next day to try and do it again, but I had so many responses that it took me like an hour to get through my responses. And then I'm like, I can't even like, so I guess like, do you wait to a certain time? Like, I feel like I struggle with waiting too long to leave them in my inbox unread, but also trying to move on to other things and keep inviting. But if that makes sense.
You can set a timer. Be like, okay, for 15 minutes, I'm going to respond to these messages of people that answered. And then I'm going to spend 10 minutes or 15 minutes inviting, or like whatever time slot you have. Or like break it up. Be like, okay, my morning chunk, I'm going to respond to the people. And then, or maybe have like 3 chunks, like respond, invite, then respond again later.
Okay. And so not trying to just finish them all, but.
So
or
I
just
really
know that you have 15 minutes and finish them all.
Okay.
But don't like spend your whole day like responding. Just like do like a chunk.
Yeah.
And then go back later and do like another chunk.
Okay, that makes sense.
I do the same way. So, and like, for example, if I'm inviting, I'm like, right now I'm doing invites. There's like, as I'm sending them out, I can see them on my,
Right.
banner, like that person, oh shit, that person responded, that person. So it's like, while I'm inviting, I'm like, oh my God, she seems interested. Okay. I literally have to say to myself, nope, we're not doing that right now. Like those conversations are for follow-up section. So like I have time set aside for invites and I have time set aside for follow-ups. Because where I used to go wrong would be like, oh my God, they responded, I got to respond again. And then you end up in this conversation and it's like one conversation and you accomplish one invite. So what I do is I literally will tell myself, like, I'm sitting down. I actually usually do like 20, usually right when I get back from bringing Landon to school. So like 9:30 to 10 is like my 20. She's usually having her breakfast. She's occupied. I'm eating my yogurt and I'm just like banging them out, 20 invites. And then my other 20 is usually when they're having their tub, which is like 7:30 to 8 or 8:30. So that's my invite times. And I know that I'm going to do 20 in the morning and I'm going to do 20 at night. That's a little bit easier. Follow-ups, you're right. They do kind of start like your messages. You're like, wow, I'm drowning in messages. So I will go to the bottom and then I'm like, okay, for the next 20 minutes, I need to follow up my face off. And I respond to as many of them as I can in that pocket of time that I have. And I start right back off wherever I finished. And so I go down to the bottom where I see the first bold message and I go through that way. And I found
you still have unread messages, you're still inviting?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh no, see, I don't send invites until all my messages are answered.
Okay, so no matter what, no matter how many unread messages I have in terms of follow-ups, I send my 20 invites in the morning and 20 invites at night, knowing that I'm still going to probably get more. I'm obviously going to be more buried in my follow-ups, but I'm like, I'm going to tackle that when I can. And I, no matter what, those invites are still going out because it's a numbers game. So that's where, you really have to find a way to, like I've just accepted that sometimes my messages are going to be sent 3 days after they responded to me, and I'm okay with that. Like I'll just say, oh my gosh, thanks so much for responding. Sorry, I've had a busy couple of days, blah, 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 blah. And then I follow up with them. The only time that I will like respond to a follow-up. Let's say it's like the same day, and maybe I saw the banner and it's somebody who I could tell, or maybe I can see the whole message on the locked screen. Like that person's ready to sign up. I'll flag them and I make sure I get in touch with them.
Right.
Sometimes it's been like 3 days, and I just say to them like, "Hey, I'm sorry," and I know that that's not ideal. Like ideally, I could respond right away to everybody, but that's just not realistic. I try to stay on top of it as I can. But at the end of the day, to me, like the invites going out, that's the most important piece. I mean, I don't know if Shauna would agree, but to me, it's like you want to stay as on top of the conversations as you can. You want to follow up as soon as possible. 3 days sucks. And I try to be on top of it every day and go to bed with a clean inbox, but there's days where it doesn't happen, but I still wake up and do my invites.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to try that.
I muted you, Shauna.
Stop being so anal about it.
Shauna, do you agree or no?
Yeah, I just realized what time it is, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Do my
invites no matter what.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, have a great night, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rach, for hosting.
Bye.
Wait, let's take a picture.
What?
Let's take a picture.
Yeah, let's take a picture.
Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. I look like a ghost. I got to figure out this lighting situation. Oh,
You're in the picture.
I took a bunch of pictures for you too, Rach, and some videos. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't do gallery view. That's probably not going to work. Okay, hold on. One more time.
Okay.
Oh, whoa, I'm in slow-mo.
Yeah, I'm not ready. Okay.
All right, 1, 2. Ooh. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Sarah, did you get your Botox? Shut up, I can tell you look so good. I was like, why does she look like 30 years younger? What the F? Sarah got Botox this weekend. She went to a Botox party.
I want to get a Botox license.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You look so good. I can tell such a difference. What the hell?
You should come.
No, I don't want toxins in my body.
Oh my God.
All right, have a good night, ladies.
Bye. Thank you for jumping on. Rach, hold up because I wanted to show you Canva real quick. You have 2 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So just stay on for 1 second. You guys want to stay on? I can show you too.
Okay.
What are you showing us?
Canva. The slide, or I'm sorry, Keynote is what I wanted to show you, the slides. But you know what? It's not going to let me because I'm not on my Mac. But Keynote is the one here. Hold on. Keynote is the one that I used when I talked on the Team Boom call.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's so much more user friendly. Oh wow. Okay, stop recording.